Okay, so again, before we even get into any of the account build, I want to talk about something that's very, very important as well, and that is determining what your customer lifetime value is, or patient lifetime value, in the case of physical therapy. This is important because it allows us to be able to make really smart decisions about bidding, and it really informs your campaign strategy, right? It allows you to be able to look at the math and go, okay, I have a patient that's worth X amount of dollars over time. Let's say that the market that you're advertising in is expensive from a cost per click perspective, and you don't know if you're overpaying per clicks, and you don't know if it's unprofitable, right? So this allows you to step back and really look at it from a mathematical perspective, and make smart decisions about what you're willing to bid up to. And it's not as easy as just determining the CPC and building out a simple formula, because you also have to think about what is a patient worth over time? And this is where a lot of businesses, quite frankly, they just don't have the data. So kudos to you if you have it, by the way, that's amazing. But if you don't have it, at least start thinking about it, and maybe put some numbers down in a spreadsheet and do a tally. Look at your current list of patients over time to get a sense for what is your patient lifetime value for all the different services. I think that's really important as well, because it allows you to say, okay, these are the campaigns I want to start with because they mean the most to the business, right? So it could be physical therapy. If you do chiropractic, it might be chiropractic, or it could be whatever, because it depends on the business. A lot of physical therapy practices offer a lot of different services, and some of them can mean more in terms of long-term revenue than others, okay? So let's take a quick look at the numbers, and we'll talk in more depth about that. Okay, so this is a super simple example just to break it down, okay? Let's say that we are looking at physical therapy related keywords, and the cost per click is $10, which is actually pretty good. I've seen them a lot more than that, but this is why we have to look at it carefully. If we know the cost per click is $10, and we know that our conversion rate on the website has been 5% historically, again, just throwing out a random number. And by the way, that can come through organic traffic. If you haven't been running ads at all, you can look at your Google Analytics and figure out what your conversion rate is a lot of times. So it would pull from another channel, and we would just bring that over as a goal for Google Ads. Google Ads should technically beat your other channels because it's way more focused, right? So people are searching for something specific, but at least it'll give you a benchmark as to what you should be shooting for. So let's say our cost per click is $10, our conversion rate is 5%. So that means it would take 20 clicks to get a single conversion, right? But that doesn't mean that it's actually converted into a patient, right? So you have a double layer here. You have a conversion rate of the form, and then you have a conversion rate of whoever is responding to the form in a timely manner. And by the way, this can also apply to phone calls, right? So if somebody's clicking on your ad, your call extension in your ad, and they call the office, are they going to voicemail and they're not getting a call back? There's a lot of factors there that can really hurt your conversion rate, right? So it's really important to think of this almost full funnel as it applies to your physical therapy practice. Making sure that the forms that get submitted are responded to in a timely fashion, especially when you're paying for those clicks. Making sure that any phone call that comes in is being answered promptly, that anything is being logged into some system, CRM, or even just a basic spreadsheet, to make sure that you have the internal tracking in place as well. So getting back to this particular slide, okay, cost per click of $10, conversion rate of 5%, means that it takes 20 clicks to get one conversion, which means your cost per conversion in this case is 200. Okay, let's say that out of that, the one conversion that comes into your office, maybe half of them actually turn into a patient. So then your cost per conversion would be double of that, right? So it'd be $400. This is where it's really helpful to know the lifetime value of each patient. And again, it can be broken down by service level. So let's say that your patient lifetime value is $5,000. So in this particular case, we know that if we spend $200 or $400, if we're using both conversion on the Google side and then also the internal conversion rate on the sales side, we would still be doing okay. I mean, we'd be still doing great actually. You know, spend 400, get 500 back in lifetime value. And again, this is something that you need to calculate internally. It depends on, you know, how long you want to look out. Time-wise, typically I would say it's like 1 to 2 years. It's not truly lifetime value, but figuring out what that number is super helpful. Because it totally allows you to be able to look at the Google Marketplace and see when these CPCs are high, which sometimes can be shocking, right? If you look at CPCs and be like, oh my God, it's $20 per click. Well, let's look at the numbers. Does that make sense? Do we have a high enough conversion rate both on the form and then also internally in the office to be able to turn those clicks into patients? And does it make sense to invest in that particular click? Your competitors are probably not putting the work in to figure it out, so you can outbid them and own the number one position and know that you're A-okay because you've taken the time to understand your numbers and use that to grow your business. Okay? All right. If you're liking this content, please, because this is a brand new channel, give it a thumbs up. Smash the like button, as they say, but don't smash it so hard that you end up in your own physical therapy practice. All right. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video.